Hi, I'm John Fay from Windsong Kennels. Today I'd like to introduce you to how I teach whoa, the whoa command, which means stop in bird dog language. Interesting, last night I was reading some things across the internet, questions about how do I keep a dog from continuing to bump the bird or move the bird or move with the bird, and I saw several comments in which they were correct in telling the gentleman that we teach whoa. Now, I know there's several different methods out there. There's a whole gambit of methods of teaching whoa. This is one that I chose to come up with back in 1999. It's based on positive reinforcement, the Pavlovian theory, where I elicit the behavior I want, I reward that behavior. The repetition of that behavior becomes conditioned behavior. So in this case, whoa means stop. So the behavior we want to teach is stop. So how do we teach that? I utilize a training tool called a gentle leader. If some of you aren't familiar with it, a gentle leader is a takeoff from the Halti. These are relatively inexpensive, and it controls the dog's head. Anytime you can control the dog's head, number one, psychologically they'll submit to you, but number two, you have control. I can stop the dog. And so that's exactly what I do. I walk the dog beside me. Every time I stop, I don't say anything. I reward the dog with either hand praise, verbal praise, or a food reward. That's their reward for stopping. So we continue to do that, and when the dog learns that every time I stop, I get rewarded in some manner, then they choose to stop on their own. Well, that's the behavior I want, so then I put a word to that behavior. Whoa. Dogs don't know the English language, so we have to, what we call, chain a word to the behavior that they're doing at the time. Similar to how you would teach a whistle command to a dog. You would chain it before or after the here command or the come command, whatever you prefer to use. So this is how I control the dog with the gentle leader. This goes over the muzzle. And I'm going to demonstrate this to you on a 5-month-old pup that's here for training. Uh, this goes over the muzzle and this goes behind the head, and then your lead attaches here on the bottom, which allows you to control the dog's head. So again, to go over this, I'm going to walk the dog. I'm not going to say anything. Every time I stop, in this case, I'm going to give the pup a hand praise. I'm just going to pet it and tell it what a good dog it is. And then once the dog starts understanding that, it'll start stopping on its own to get the reward, to get the praise. What I incorporate with this afterwards is once I see the dog stopping on its own, I put the word to that behavior, whoa. Then before I start walking again, I tap the dog twice on the head. That's how I teach it's okay to move, or it's okay to relocate your pup. So all these things are incorporated right in your yard training. We're out in the field today because after I complete this, we're going to let this puppy chase birds so we can introduce it to the gunfire. But that's another subject. But right now I'm going to show you how we put the gentle leader on a dog and how we move forward with this training. It takes 10 minutes, some dogs even only 5 minutes to learn this. That's the beauty of this. You're not putting the dog on a barrel. You're not putting the dog on a table. You're not putting the dog between a chain, and at the end of the chain you yell, whoa. You're not doing any of that. The dog, it's very easy, even a whoa board. I used a whoa board when that first came out using the Dobbs method. But there's always a transition from either the barrel or the table or from your whoa board to the ground. They have to make that transition. They have to understand that not only do they have to do it on a table, barrel, or board, they have to do it on the ground. So I didn't want that transition anymore. There was no way to, it's time consuming. So I simplified it by just eliciting the behavior I want, rewarding the behavior. The repetition becomes conditioned behavior. That's how I train dogs. That's basically how I train dogs. There's no secret to my training. That's basically how I train dogs. And then we always put fun before and after the training session, so the dog enjoys doing it, and you end up with a dog that wants to instead of has to. So let me proceed here and we'll show you further.